The staggering $50 billion valuation of OYO Rooms was never built on real estate or hospitality success, but on a predatory algorithm of aggressive expansion and systemic deception that masked a bleeding balance sheet. Ritesh Agarwal, a young prodigy from India, convinced the world's most sophisticated investors, including SoftBank, that he had cracked the code to global budget travel, yet the reality was a house of cards constructed from phantom room counts and unsustainable subsidies. To understand the OYO phenomenon, one must look past the sleek app interface and neon-lit signs that suddenly blanketed the globe. In the mid-2010s, OYO didn't just disrupt the hotel industry, it weaponized it. The strategy was simple but devastatingly effective: identify struggling, non-branded hotel owners, offer them a quick renovation, and force them into a contract that essentially stripped them of their autonomy. OYO claimed to be a technology company, a platform that used data to optimize pricing. In truth, it was a debt-fueled marketing machine that prioritized growth metrics over actual profit. By 2019, OYO was adding thousands of rooms to its inventory every single day. Investors were blinded by the sheer speed of this growth. They saw a company that was expanding faster than Airbnb, ignoring the fundamental friction of managing physical assets. Unlike Airbnb, which bears no responsibility for the physical condition of a property, OYO signed long-term leases and management contracts. They were buying the volatility of the hospitality market without the capital buffer to survive a downturn. Documents leaked later revealed a harrowing culture of vanity metrics. OYO would list hotels on its platform that weren't even licensed to operate. They would claim occupancy rates that were mathematically impossible. In many regions, the company was essentially playing a game of hot potato with hotel owners, promising guaranteed income that they had no intention of paying. As the pressure to meet aggressive valuation targets mounted, the corporate culture turned toxic. Employees were encouraged to onboard properties at any cost, leading to a sprawling mess of unmaintained rooms, safety violations, and disgruntled partners who felt betrayed by the company's empty promises. The core of the disaster lies in the SoftBank effect. Masayoshi Son, the architect of the Vision Fund, provided the fuel for this fire. He believed that if you threw enough capital at a business, it would eventually crush all competition through sheer scale. This mindset, known as blitzscaling, proved to be the undoing of OYO. Instead of building a sustainable foundation, the company spent hundreds of millions on massive advertising campaigns in countries like the US and China, markets where their model was fundamentally incompatible with local labor laws and real estate norms. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, the illusion shattered instantly. Occupancy rates plummeted to near zero, and the company was left with thousands of contracts it couldn't honor. The layoff waves began. The golden child of the Indian startup ecosystem suddenly looked like a cautionary tale of hubris. Ritesh Agarwal's once pristine image was tarnished as lawsuits from hotel owners began piling up in courts across Asia and Europe. The company scrambled to pivot, but the narrative had shifted. It was no longer a tech giant, it was a struggling management firm trying to fix a broken product. Today, OYO operates in a hollowed-out version of its former self, having undergone massive restructuring and public relations damage control. The lesson here is not just about hospitality, it is about the dangers of unchecked venture capital and the cult of the founder. We live in an era where disruption has become a catch-all term for circumventing basic business realities. When you strip away the branding and the investor hype, OYO represents a classic pattern of corporate excess, the belief that you can scale a business model to infinity by ignoring the very ground you stand on. The $50 billion valuation wasn't an evaluation of value, it was a price tag on a dream, and like all dreams bought with venture debt, it was destined to wake up to a cold, hard reality. Ultimately, OYO's story is a mirror held up to the startup industry. It proves that technological innovation cannot act as a substitute for operational excellence. While the app promised a seamless, standardized experience, the reality was a fragmented, inconsistent, and often dangerous service that suffered from a lack of oversight. The rapid climb was powered by the same arrogance that led to the downfall of other unicorn startups. Investors chose to ignore the red flags because the fear of missing out, or FOMO, was stronger than the desire for a viable business model. As we look at the modern startup landscape, we must ask ourselves, how many more OYOs are hiding in plain sight, waiting for the next market shift to expose their fragile foundations? The era of growth at any cost is dying, and the wreckage left behind serves as a reminder that in business, gravity eventually wins. If this deep dive into the crumbling facade of OYO shocked you, you absolutely must watch our video about the catastrophic failure of the WeWork empire, which reveals even more disturbing truths about the blind spots of modern venture capital.